Okay, guys, back again. Remember that in the slideshow, one of the things that you can tell about when you're tracking is by looking at signs on vegetation. Now, I've been on this trail over here, and it's very thick, as you can tell, okay? Yeah, it's thick. It's a thick swamp. And on this particular branch here, looks like somebody took a knife and scraped it. Well, it wasn't somebody, it was a deer. And what happens is in September, male deer will rub their antlers on trees to get rid of what is called velvet. The antlers are growing from like April until about September. And then they rub their antlers on a tree like that to get rid of the outer coating. And then you see the nice white ivory antlers. Okay, in this case here, this could have been made, like I figured, it's a year old. But they also do this late October to mid-November to mark their territory for mating purposes. And since it was done on this side of the tree, the deer always faces the side that it's going to rub. So this deer was going in that direction. Okay. Again, a little tidbit about tracking. Now, I'm surprised I haven't seen any sign yet, but in this swampy wooded area, there is a black bear, but I haven't seen him or any of his sign. I haven't seen any droppings, nor have I seen it. Of course, I'm also making a lot of noise. They're not stupid, and they're very intolerant of intrusions by people. So what ends up happening is if he thinks I'm moving around, he'll hear me, and he'll run off into the thick brush, thicker than this. This is nothing to go through. Okay. Let's see. There's a little clearing over here. Okay. I'm going to try and make my way into it. Yeah, I'm making way too much noise to sneak up on a bear. You really can't sneak up on a bear. It's almost impossible. Unless you're in a canoe or you're over some bait. Okay, oh, here's a trail right here. I know, it doesn't look like much of a trail, but it is. And also, we did have some storms where heavy winds have knocked down trees and branches and whatnot. So, we're coming into a more open spot. Oh yeah, here we are. I know where we are. The season's going to change pretty soon. There's like an indentation in the ground here, so something did walk through here. I think it might have been our bear. Bears, deer, and people are we call creatures of habit. They tend to have a rhythm. Just like you get up in the morning, and you can see that things have been walking on this moss. See, here's a good example. This moss over here, it's disturbed, so something keeps stepping on it here. So again, that's a sign on vegetation that something's going through. And again, see the moss here? Look how that moss has been ripped. Something or someone stepped there and left a mark. And since it's on that side of the rock, I would say I'm going in a direction that someone or something is traveling in. Okay. Well, there's a big old dead tree. And that's something if you're going to, for some reason, if you had to spend the night here, although I wouldn't because it's in a low swampy area, that's where you would want to basically stay away from, because in a high wind, that may come down one day. And if it comes down on you, there's thousands of pounds of dead wood that can crush and kill you. Okay? Oh, I stepped a little too hard, and that made noise. Now, again, sign on vegetation. I'm walking through here. You can see this dead tree, and look how it's worn out in that one spot. Something is walking through there repeatedly. It takes a long time for a tree to die and decompose. Okay? So, speaking of decomposition, there's some what looks to be like raccoon poop. All right, raccoon dropping. So we know there's raccoons around here. I made this big circular route. And we also have evidence of human activity here. How do we know? Well, there's someone's tree stand. I'll tell you who it is. It's me. This is one of my spots. And so I'm very familiar with what's in this area. Now let's continue looking. I don't like to disturb my areas too much. And again, you can see this trail of leaves in this moss. And it's a path. Oh, you're right, look. Where the tip of my foot is, there's a deer print. And there's another deer print next to it. So we got a lot of activity in this area. I don't know how long that will go, but we can continue on. Again, usually this is swampy ground, but it's been so dry, it's not even funny. Okay. And we can see more deer tracks here. Oh. And we have a well-worn path. Probably saying, why is it well-worn? Well, it's because people have been using it. How do we know? Well, because these branch tips have been cut so that someone can walk through here quietly. Now, when it comes to security, if somebody's trying to hide out in the woods, say like, years ago there was that man named Eric Rudolph. He was an abortion clinic bomber. And he lived in thick laurel like this in the highlands of North Carolina. He did have help from other people, let's be honest. Oh, it's starting to rain. Well, that's all right. We'll see how waterproof the iPhone is. He made sure he was always well hidden. But, you know, one thing that can give away a person that's, say, hiding out is if they do things like this. If they make any kind of cuts to the land, any kind of like tree cutting, limb cutting, okay? Now this one here, this plant here was not cut. That was eaten. That was eaten by a deer. Okay. In fact, there's one over here that was as well. And as we go further in, well, I should say we're going out of the swampy area. And we're going to go into this transition. You can also see evidence of activity, how this has been worn out from people putting their feet on it, especially me. And again, you can see on this path how, you know, people have gone through here, again, me, and cut it so that it's easier to get in and out of. As you can see from here, again, branch tips have been cut. But then it gets thicker, you know. Somebody who is trying to hide out, for lack of a better term, or they don't want to let you know where their area that they like to go and to recreate, they won't make any cuts until they get to, like, say, the last 50 yards of where they want to go to. So as we're walking through here, this looks like an ordinary game trail. Now, this has been matted down by both human and deer, but nothing has been cut. If you see any cuts, it's because something was eating it, okay? So, anyways, I'm going to end it now. And just again, just as a wrap up, okay, when it comes to tracking, all right, you're looking for things that stand out of the ordinary, and it requires a little bit of a trained eye. And what I mean by trained eye, you have to look for very subtle changes. A broken branch, what looks to be like something big walked through all of this brush. You notice how it's swaled down. Tracks themselves, and I've shown you tracks themselves. Also some droppings. We saw the raccoon droppings, and then also we found some bone. All of these skills can be applied not only just for outdoor use, but also for people in security, because again, you never know. You may one day find yourself having to do this as part of your job, okay? So anyways, on that note, we're going to end it because the rain is really picking up now, okay? Take care, guys.